Hey everyone, it's Larry here at LC Model Shipbuilding, and we're really getting close to the end of this build. So in this episode, we're going to be doing the wireless array that goes between the two masts, and then we're going to be doing the docking bridge. I have to redo that, so I got a new one, and we're gonna repair that and kind of show you what I did with that. So third time around, it turned out pretty good this time. But the wireless array, I'm using the China 3D mast, which are a little bit skinnier than the KA version. So there was some workarounds that we had to do in order to get that to fit right. So special thank you to Neil, Mark, and Robbie for some assistance in trying to figure out how we were going to do that. But we got through it, and hopefully this video helps somebody. So please give a like and subscribe, and let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start with the aerials right now from Maritime Models. So the goal in this video is basically going to be getting the aerial done and the rear rigging for the back half of the ship. So what I'm going to do first, I'm cutting the lines that go down to the wireless room, and boy, this is thick stuff. Stainless steel, which is fantastic, but definitely on the thicker side. So I don't want to break the blade. I might end up using a set of nippers, honestly. Let me see if I have a better blade that I can try to go at it with. Now, I do have a rounded blade that they tend to like better for photo etch. Well, the one thing I will say that makes me really happy with how thick this is, it shouldn't break easily. Okay, there we go. Now, I'm leaving these natural in color. Not sure if that's correct or not. I don't know. Myself and model boat guy Robbie were talking about that. He left his natural as well. So I'm going to just kind of follow suit on that one. Now, the one thing with these, good Lord, that I'm going to do, and I'll show it once I get this off, the upper ones and these both have a round loop. So connecting them does appear to be a bit of a challenge. So what I'm going to do, I thought about soldering them like Robbie did. So you can see there, they have this loop. But I think I'm actually going to cut the top of the loop off with my nippers, and then I'm going to actually glue them onto the upper aerial. So I'm going to set that aside for a minute, toss that out. Then I have the upper aerial set, and these I've already painted. So the front half stays natural silver, and then the back half stays black for the insulation, and that's basically how they work. You can tell the front half because I have it upside down, but you can tell the front half because it does not have a rope extending out to the mast. It's just the ring that's right there. And what's great about these, they're made to literally drop right over your mast. And for myself and for Robbie, that is a great situation, being that we'll be able to remove these as needed to get in to access our battery packs and other things that might come up with a RC build. Okay, so I'm going to work on cutting this, and I'll probably do it off camera just because it's a bit of a bear and a struggle. So I will pause, and I will be back when we are ready to drop these off. So maybe we're not quite ready to go up and put this on the ship. So these are the reinforcement pieces that go over the spreaders on both ends. So I'm gathering that they go top and bottom. At least that's how I'm going to put them on. So this is just basically to shore up and make these a little bit more robust than what they already are. So this will be quite helpful. I know this was one of the bigger challenges I had with the 1350 Titanic. Was the aerials. So really excited about these. This is a nice setup. Now he does have the separators like down the center here, but I'm going to leave them. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to leave them because otherwise you run the risk of them not staying straight how they're supposed to. But I'm not going to put the reinforcements over them. I'm only going to do the reinforcements on the two ends because those spreaders I don't think were there in real life. But from a modeling standpoint, I think they're a good call. And it kind of comes down to the only people I think that are really going to ever notice that are really crazy Titanic enthusiasts. And yeah, it just from a workability standpoint I think needs to be there just in dealing with this particular part in the past on a smaller scale. Okay, so there's that. Now we're going to flip over to the other side, and you can see this is the rear because it has the line here going over to the mast. And we're going to flip over here and go to the forward side and do the exact same thing. And you can see I left the metal here exposed, and that was so the wireless would get better signal both coming and going. But I'm telling you, man, these this metal is thick. I should have used tin snips. Honestly, that probably would have been a much better call out. But we're already this far in now. Okay, got one. So I have no concern with these coming apart. That's one nice thing. If we were using brass, one or two movements and this would be done. So, great product. Okay. Now let me just flip her over. And then we'll go up and drop this down onto the ship. And then we'll do the rear rigging. This will be probably not the last video, but close to it for Titanic. I'm going to have probably another video yet with some more decals and details and that sort of thing. But essentially, the rigging here will end out the major build components of the model. There's still a couple things I'm working on with getting decks seated properly, just with them being removable. So I'll get through that, and most of that's just going to be hiding some additional screws and stuff like that, probably under vents or under areas where you won't see them. So I probably won't go into a video showing all that because it's not really going to be enjoyable times. But yeah, let me pause it. We'll go up and start putting these on. So here we are upstairs now. I can't wait to reclaim my dining room table and rebuild my dining room after this. But anyway, I'm just going to drop this down on the mast, and I hope you can see it. I'm not sure if you can. And then we're going to drop it down up here on the forward mast. I'll try to rotate here. Hopefully it gives me enough. And it should work. And we're dropping down. Okay, so it is definitely longer than needed. So we are going to need to shorten a little bit. Now, in order to do that, what I'm going to do, I gotta see how much it needs to shorten. But he provided a bend crease basically right here. And I think if I go about right there, that's going to be what I need. Now the other thing to factor into this, the mast is getting not pulled yet from the rear. So I'm going to wait. And what I mean here, let me show you. This mast has a rope that goes down there, and it's not getting pulled yet. Hopefully you can see that. It's not getting pulled yet. So when I pull that, it actually brings it up a little bit higher to where it would be suitable. So I think I'm going to run the rigging down to here and see if that helps to tension up what we got going on. Now, it's not a whole heck of a lot that it needs to get tensioned. And if that does not work, my next step is going to be shortening this, and I'd rather not have to do that, but I know there is ways to do it. And I think it's just by bending some of the brass or the metal here. So what you can see here, I'll go in a little bit closer. There is dual not hooks, but dual isolators there, and there's dual over here as well. Hopefully that focuses. So I'm thinking if I just bend them back, that's going to give me the tension that I need. So I just want to double check with that before I go and do it. So let me pause. Okay, I figured it'd be better just to send a video. So hopefully that's focusing. So that's where it's riding on the rear mast. I do have my tension on the rear, and you can see it is bowed back how it's supposed to be. We are almost touching on the third funnel. Second funnel just barely up, and then over. And that mast looks to be pretty much correct, I think. So I've gotten some improvement, and what I did was I just put a small piece of thread right here around the mast here. Hopefully you can see that. And then that rides down on it. Now, this is still lower than I want it to be. I want to bring it up basically about there above the funnel. And you can see it's still a little bit low. So what I'm going to end up doing is taking a small piece of the length out of here and basically making a hook out of it to connect into that little eyelet there. Hold on, sorry, trying to get into focus. So I'm going to cut a little bit of a length, and I'm going to make it into a hook, basically shortening this. So here we go. I did the same thing back here also with the string. Sorry. You can see that. And I'm going to keep that because it was riding low. I did just talk to Neil, and we are pretty sure that the China 3D masts are just slightly thinner than the KA. So essentially, to get where I need to get, I need to shorten it to about there. So I'm going to cut it right about where my finger is. Let me just grab my nippers. Actually, that's the length I need. Right there. So I got to do this backwards of what I was originally thinking. So we're going to cut. Then we're going to bend this up into a hook. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. I'm doing my best. This is definite improvisation. I can't even say it. Improvisation. There we go. That's what I meant. Okay, so now and this stuff does not bend easy, so that should do it. So now I'm going to hook into here, and I didn't cut the rest of it off yet. There we go. We're going to put it on here, and perfect. That gave me my length. So now you can see, hopefully, that we are well above the funnel, and I got a pretty decent catenary curve now. All right, so that's how we solve it. So to fix this, two things. One, I shortened this line right here, which added more tension on the mast and helped to kind of straighten it out, but you can see it is bowed. Now, that was actually my fault, because when I glued the two pieces that connect right here, I don't think I was dead on perfect, and it kind of always had a natural drift back. Even if you look at the pictures from this morning, you'll see it. Over here, did nothing except I tied a piece of string right around the mast. So when you lift this up, there's that string right there, and I know it's not focusing, sorry, but this now will stay on there to keep it higher. Then back here, what I did, there is a loop, an eyelet, so to say, right there at the end of this. So I trimmed this out and cut about 1 centimeter out, and then made a hook that went into that eyelet to shorten it up. I went back to rewatch that video, and I know you can't really see where I cut, so I apologize for that. But as you can see, it is a little bit shorter now, about 1 centimeter shorter, and there's basically just a hook going into that eyelet, and that's now what holds it. So sorry about that. I apologize. I was doing it on the stand and couldn't really see it. So hopefully that kind of clears it up. So next up, and I'm sorry about the squeaking, my dryer is dying a slow, painful death, but I'll do my best to talk over it, and I'll keep these parts of the video short. So this is the wireless array drop downs. So what I did was cut them basically so there's a channel for this to glue into on the actual array. So I'm going to put them right into where the hooks are on that, not the hooks, but the loops, and then I'm going to just kind of glue it fast and do some bending. So I'm going to do it off camera, just because I know the dryer is annoying. It's done, so I can kind of walk through what I did here. So the wireless drop down is on and attached, so basically I glued it right here at those points, and then this piece here just rides right onto that right there. And I thought about attaching it, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm just going to leave it kind of as is and let it kind of go its own way there. It's laying exactly how I want it to. It looks fantastic, and I'm real happy with it. If I do have a problem with it like bouncing off or anything like that, then I'll revisit that as we go. So back onto the rigging in the back of the ship here. Everything is copacetic here, and I'm good with it. So what I'm doing now, these are the well deck insides basically, and each side gets one, obviously. So that's actually the bottom. So this is for this side, and the other is for the other side. And what I did, I've looked at two different ways of doing this. So what Robbie did from Model Boat Guy, he drilled into the mast and attached magnets to it. I don't really have that option with the China 3D mast. I'm just worried about the strength and durability of doing that. So what I'm going to do is hooks. So hooks and eyelets. So I put in eyelets here, and then I tied my strings on. And what I'm going to do then is glue this down, and I'm going to then run a hook up to the top up here, and it will connect via hook, similar to how it does on the back there. And I'm only doing that for those two side ropes. Everything else will basically be regular ties, because it comes down here to the fourth funnel and down to the second class staircase. So I'm going to work on getting this stuff squared away and tying these in quick, and then I'll get them glued in. And then after I get them glued in, I'll get the hooks attached, and then we'll run them up to where they belong. So that is pretty much how I'm dealing with the fact that this needs to separate. And I just don't have the assurances, I guess, that I want that these masts will hold up if I drill into them. So I'm going the safe route, I guess you'd say, and just doing it by hook. Yeah, you'll be able to slightly see the hook, but really it will be so minuscule that you're not really going to notice it. So the hooks I'm using, again, are also left over from Constitution. They're kind of a photo etch piece that just basically get tied on, and then they'll hook into the eyelet. So that's how I'm running that. So let me go ahead and get these tied. I'll get it mounted. I already got my eyelets on this side. I need to put them over here yet. I didn't do that yet. And I got to put one down here for there. But yeah, let me go ahead and do that, and I'll be back. Okay, so it's a little hard to see the rigging without this piece of white here. So I basically went ahead and finished it off on the rear here, off camera, just because it was really hard to see. So you have your line coming down here to here, one coming up here, then you got your two lines coming down here. I have the ladders here, and then they kind of fit into a little spot I made on the side well here, and that makes it removable. So when this has to come off, it'll stay attached to the mast, but will come off here on the sides as I need it to. And then down here you have your final line coming down. Now, one thing I didn't address, I am not real happy with this docking bridge. When I built it, I made a mistake, and I kind of hid it in the video that I did it in, but you can see on the back here, it's kind of broken up a little bit and all that. So when I put this together, I stupidly ordered blinking lights. So then I had to take it all back apart, and it kind of never really went back together correctly. So this is the one available on B&B. So we're gonna finish out this video with doing a rebuild of this, because I bought another one, and it has arrived, so I want to get it correct now. That's also why I never put the instruments on here, and the life rafts, and not rafts, but the life rings and all that. So I'm not going to try to reuse this fencing again, because this is the third time that I've redone the docking bridge, but I am going to use the decking to cut out a new piece of deck for the rebuild. Another problem I have with this, which is completely my fault, I have a lot of light bleed going on that goes right through the deck. So we're going to address that and get this corrected, and yeah, make it a much better piece so that I feel happier with it. And getting the model close to the end here, I want it to be right, and I don't want to have to come back to it down the road. So like I said, the first thing we're doing here is tearing off this so I can use this as a template to cut the new one. Then I'm going to go down and we're going to rebuild, or we're going to build the new one, and we'll be right back. Okay, so from extra deck pieces, I have a piece that's fairly close to what I need, but I'm going to do it in a way that basically I'll have a cut line where the wing comes off, essentially. So that part, which will only be a small space here, you will see a small cut, but it shouldn't be too noticeable, and it's going to look better than what we had. So all we're going to do, cut it out with wood, or with scissors, and just basically trace right along what the original had. And I could kick myself for doing this, because when I turned it on and it started blinking, it was a sad moment. So what we're going to do is get that lined up basically as it is. Let me put this piece back on here just to kind of hold it there a second. Just want to make sure I'm good and straight. Okay. And now we're going to cut it right here where the old one would have ended. And I do think that was just a little bit long too. I want to check. Yep, I'm just a little bit too long going this way, so I'm just going to trim that a bit. Might not be all the way though. Yeah, it is. Okay. So we're going to just follow along here. And I want to make sure my plank is perfectly cut on a plank so I don't see an overlap of the planks. Okay, so there we go. Now we're going to do essentially the same thing with this one, just to get that out of the way. Now I know it's not going to have like that framed look that this one, or the original, had, but I'll live with it. And really, once the fence is down, I don't know how much you would notice anyhow. So, not the fence, the railing, sorry. Wrong terminology. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then we're just gonna go like that. And this should give me exactly what I need. Voila. Just want to trim a tiny bit right there where it looks like it's angled instead of straight. And that should do. Okay, so let me get rid of this stuff that I don't need. Keep what I do. And voila. Okay, so here is the deck side piece. I did already paint these, both pieces. So we're going to go ahead and glue it down, and then I'll show how we're going to address our light bleed. And I'm just using CA on this rather than getting out the wood glue and all that, because it's such a small piece and it will work for what I need. If I can get it open. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down, and then we're going to run our lighting and the other little details. So let me work on this after I glue my finger to the paper. And I'm just dipping a little bit to get some of the edging. Okay, that's on. Now I want to do the same thing over here. And there we go. And it's on. You can't see a crease, so I'm pretty happy with that. So we got our deck. A little bit bowed, but the railing will actually cover that, so I'm not going to stress over it too much. Okay, so now, since we're using the original kit parts, I need C19. So this is C19, so it's the bottom one right here. So I'm going to get this painted up real quick, and we'll be back. Okay, so learning from doing this the second time around. The first time, I cut off all my resistors, which was kind of a pain, because then I had to solder them all back on. This time around, I'm not cutting them off, and I'm just slipping it up through here. Much smarter. I wish I would have thought of that the first time around, would have saved a little bit of time, but whatever, here we are today. So what we're going to do is put some glue down. Come on. This bottle doesn't like me. So we're going to put glue down and basically get our wires tucked in here. I must have hit this with the accelerator. Yeah, I must have. Alright, well, anyway. I'm going to put that right in here so it follows our track line, and bring our light down so that it is in the hole provided. And I don't know how well I showed them the first time around either. I will do that in 1 second here. Let me just get this one kind of seated, although you might be able to see the holes. So that already has the holes in there for the lighting. So, and I double checked to make sure that they are not blinkers. Alright, so now the next one, can do the exact same thing and feed it up through. Hopefully. There we go. And I'm going to put glue down again. and then my wires will fit into that nice little channel there. If I can get it to the seat. Okay, now I'm just going to put a little bit more glue along the channel here to bring that one over. And it doesn't have to like be perfect in the channel, because the underside of the decking is actually recessed to give room for it. So I'm not going to go overly crazy getting that to seat perfect. But I do want my light to seat where it's supposed to. So I'm going to hit it with the accelerator. Oh good, it stuck to my finger. Okay, just because I don't like how that is going, I want to see if we're okay on the lighting. I don't know if you'll be able to see this from the camera angle. If not, I'm sorry. Okay, that one is good. And that one is good. Wonderful, okay. Onward and upward. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue in the next, what is it? 1, 2, 3. No, those aren't lights, those are for pipes. So there's 1, 2, 3 more to go. So I'm going to work on them and I shall return. Okay, so now I got all of these down. So our next step is going to be covering this. Now I originally thought about just running it the same shape and all that as the whole entire platform. But I don't know if I'll get it, 1, cut right, and 2, I don't think it will all stick down with the wires that are sticking up. So I'm just going to make patches over the individual lights so that they won't shine up through on the deck here. So I'll cover that one. And this foil tape, I think I showed it way back in the beginning at one point. I use this a lot throughout the ship, really, for light blocking. But it sticks nice, it's lightweight, and it is extremely effective for what I'm trying to do. So, yeah, highly recommend. You can get that at probably Walmart and Harbor Freight and pretty much anywhere that has just general tapes and stuff like that. So it's a foil backed, or foil, it's an adhesive, I guess you'd say, backed foil tape if you go to look for it. But I use this in a lot of builds, and I wouldn't say it's lightweight, but it's not like crazy heavy either, so it's effective. Alright, and there we go. So now we can go ahead and put our deck on, and then we'll get our railings on and finishing out details. I won't bother showing on the video me putting it back on the ship since there was already one there. But this one I want to at least kind of go through the little stanchions that go on it and all that, because I didn't do them on the other one because I knew that I was going to end up replacing it way back then. But I wanted to get the video on how to do it at least put together back then. So like I said, this is a correction video, and yeah. I'm sure anybody else that had tried what I did probably turned out successful, hopefully from that video, because you probably didn't buy blinking lights, but unfortunately I did. Alright, so here we go. Got our glue there, and now we're just going to drop this right down on it. Just got to make sure you get it in the channel that it belongs into. And it seats in there quite nicely. It's tight, but it seats in. So you really got to kind of work at it to get it in a little bit. This was part of the other problem with my original one. After you get it seated and you go to pull it out, it doesn't want to come back out. So that was another part of the problem, where it was all cracked up and just broken. So there was no way I could salvage it. Okay, and of course on the front here it doesn't want to seat down like it's supposed to. I got part of it to seat. Okay, so I got the docking bridge railings done, and for the instruments I'm going to use a combination of China 3D and KA, and the reason for this, while the China 3D pieces are absolutely fantastic, there's no way I'm going to get the printout on there or the letter type that you would want for this, so I'm going to fit the KA pieces over it, and I know they're not exactly a perfect fit. Oh, I chipped the paint off of it. I know they're not exactly a perfect fit, but they're going to be close enough. And the fact that you'll be able to see this right on the docking bridge because it's exposed unlike the main bridge, I figure it's kind of worthwhile. So I'm going to roll with that, and I don't know, that's how I want to go. So yeah, where did the glue go? Well, I guess I still have a little bit wet here. Yeah. Okay, so did a glue dip there. Put that right on top of the China 3D piece, like so. And yeah, it actually fits on there pretty nice, except it doesn't want to stay. I know why. So the China 3D piece has the handle that was originally molded on there. I'm gonna have to kind of kind of cut that off or file it off. I think I'm gonna just file it. That way the brass piece can just fit right over top of it, nice and flush. And I'm going to do the same thing with the ship wheel too. Now I'm going to use the China 3D part, but then I'm going to do the wheel from the KA set, and that has some very fine type on it. I don't know if you can see it, but it says like Sterling. I forget what the exact company it made the wheel was, but it's on there just very tiny, so we're going to use that as well. It's a minor detail, but like I said, it being on the very back of the ship, I don't know, it's an area that people like to look at, so I figure it's worthwhile just kind of going for that added little bit of detail. So I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of these on, but there you can see that, and I'll use the KA piece to make the handle too. So I'm going to go ahead and put these together, and then I'll come back and show you where we're at. We'll get them assembled on here and put our ladder on, and then we're just about done. Okay, so I got my pieces pretty much how I want them and need them to be, and there is two more little things we have to do for here. One, we got to put these on, but then two, there is a set of flag poles that go on both sides of here, and that's these. They come with the KA set, and they take these, which we're going to make out of a flagpole and all that good stuff in a minute. So I'm going to put the instruments on. I also need to put, there's a little mat that goes down there that I have on one of the other kits. So I'm going to grab that, paint that up, and then we will go ahead and finish up with putting them on. I almost forgot this piece here, and I'm just brush painting it because it's wood anyhow, so it really doesn't need to be beautiful perfect, but it will be. Okay, so I'll let that dry. I was gonna pause it, but I think while I put the other stuff on a while, that can dry up, and we'll be good to go. So these are the instruments, what do they call them, telemeters, and I got to paint the handles on the top here. So that's how they turned out. Again, that's a combination of KA and China 3D, and it really turned out nice. I'm quite happy with them. And then here is the wheel, also a combination of KA and China 3D. So looks pretty good, I think. Alright, so let me just do the handles here on this one. We'll get them glued on, and then I'll show the flag poles and how that goes together here in a second. And those poles are essentially, they go together the same as the rear jack staff, which is right here. I already have that painted to go on. I didn't really think it was a big deal to show it. Whoops. But since I got to build two of them here, I figure I might as well, just in case. Okay, so We're going to put these instruments on real quick. And one goes on each side here. Say about there. Move it over slightly. Okay. And one goes on the other side. Don't fall. Doesn't want to stay straight. Like it literally does not want to stay straight. There we go. Okay, and then we got our wheel. That goes pretty much right here in the center. And then we have our binnacle that goes right behind it, and gotta make sure I finish painting that. Where is it? No, there it is. I gotta put the red and green on it. So I'm gonna pause in a minute, paint the red and green, and then we'll come back and do these jack staffs. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I got all of them on. I'm pretty happy with that. Looks good. So what we're gonna do now is these jack staffs. So the first thing is a clamp type piece. This would make it rotate on its base. So this is a really small detail. I suppose I should probably go ahead and paint them quick, and they're going to be brown, so I'm just going to get these painted and then I'll come back to you. Okay, so I got these on and that's all set to go. Flag poles are here and painted. Now the first piece, there are little clamps, kind of like what you would attach a 4x4 with if you were building a deck. So we're going to kind of fold them up, and they go around our pole. So we're going to take our pole and we're going to dip it in some glue. And just basically put that on there. Like that. Now they would be your pivots for your base, and these are your bases right here. And I did already detach the piece of brass that would have been used for holding it into the mill when they make this. So there's a tiny little nub left there that you just got to kind of trim off. Sometimes you got to hit it with a file too, but it should pretty much knock down. It's a little weird to hold it like that, but it's doable. Yeah, there we go. And that is actually what attaches to the deck. going to kind of attach it so that it's laying down the jack staff. I'm going to touch up the paint there. It came off. I was worried about that being brass. I need to file this a little bit more. Where'd the file go? Jesus, it's right in front of me. Okay, that's better. So that's going to lay right there, and then we're just going to kind of put this so that it's laying on its side, basically like that. And I'm just going to hit it with some accelerator so that it's there. And then we have the flag hold, or the rope holders. So if you've ever put a flag up or down before, you know where the ropes kind of get wrapped around. So this kit includes them, and they're ultra tiny, as you can see. I don't know if they'll last on it, but I'll put them on. Good Lord, I can't even barely see them. Okay, so one will go here. If it will stay on there. Nope, that's not making sense. It can't go there. That would be the top of it. They need to go down here. It knocked off more paint. I don't know if these are even worthwhile putting on, but they are ones on. Okay. I really don't even know if that's going to ever possibly be visible. I lost that one. I don't think I'm even going to bother with these. They're just way too small. So I'm going to touch up paint that, and I'm going to go ahead and set up the other one, get them glued on, put the staircase on, and wrap up the video. Okay, so I put one on already. I'll touch up paint it once I get it on there, just because I know that I potentially will scratch it putting this on. And they just go at the front edge on each side. Should have just laid that flat. So I'm just going to hold it a second, and I want to make sure it stays up too. I want it to be slightly off the deck. There we go. Okay, and now our final piece for this, other than the life rings that I gotta paint, they're right here. I'll paint them up after the video, is our ladder stairway type thingy dingy here, and this does appear on everything I could see that this one was wood, because it looked like more just a ladder kind of thing that goes up. It doesn't look like the typical stairway that I saw on the rest of the ship. And Honor and Glory also has it in wood with white railings, so I'm gonna go with them. Might be wrong, but feels right ish. Okay, so we got that, and I gotta scrape that off a minute, otherwise I'll tear up my rungs. There we go. Okay, that actually went easier than I expected, and that just kind of rides there. Okay, so I am going to glue it, even though I might regret that later when I'm actually attaching it, but I think we'll be alright. So I'll do the life rings off video. There's a sign that goes right here. I'm gonna wait until I have it on the ship, because I got a lot of decals that we're actually going to be doing once we're on. But I'll probably do a whole video just on decals, because there's quite a few between ladder rungs and not ladder rungs, I'm sorry, crane boom arms and the flags, and then we got the draft markings, and there's a couple 401 markers that will go on like the props and a couple other areas. So yeah, there's a lot of little stuff here, so we'll do a video on the decals, and yeah, I'll pretty much wrap this one up. So thank you very much for watching LC Model Shipbuilding, and we'll see you next time.